Hello and happy Friday. Welcome to Fastback Friday. My name is Michelle. I'm the owner of Revolutionary Resume. Every Friday I come to you live at 11:45 a.m. Eastern to talk about workforce updates, maybe give you some tips and tricks along the way to advance your career, for your resume, what have you. So welcome on this very gloomy, at least in Ohio, Friday afternoon. So let's talk a little bit about the job market. One of the things I found this week in doing my research for today was this nifty little chart that breaks out the Bureau of Labor and Statistics jobs by category in a nice visual for those of you who are visual learners. So it gives you the breakdown. The most people are employed in private education and health services. Then the next are professional and business services, with leisure and hospitality trailing behind that, then retail, then manufacturing, then construction, then transportation and warehousing. Sorry, missed in there. Financial activities was after manufacturing. And we've got wholesale trade, information, and other services. So that gives you kind of a breakdown of employment by industry. Right now, the total private workforce participation is 159.5 million people. So that's a lot of us, and a lot more of us would like to be there, eh? So let's talk about the job market. Right now, the federal layoffs, judge has put it on hold. Maryland is really recouping better than most states in placing these people in the private sector. So if you are looking for jobs and you are in the federal workforce, do not despair. There is hope out there. There are jobs. A judge might be putting some stays on the reduction in force, as you know, and telling Trump he can't do tariffs, which would impact more jobs. So however you feel about that, just be on your toes, have your resume ready, have all the little pieces we've talked about along the way, like your STAR situations, situation, task, action, response. A few of those ready. Should you get an on-the-spur interview, you'll be well practiced in those. And I also offer career and interview coaching where we practice those, and I bombard you with questions and give you immediate feedback. I would love to do more of that. So let's move on. Scams. Especially younger people, and I'm among those even though I'm not a younger people, tend to think that they can spot the scams. They are really, really upping their game. So double check the URL it's sending you to. Double check the email it came from. I got one the other day from googlemail.com that I thought was real. It was not. It wasn't job related, but still. Things like that. Just be very, very aware. There was an article that has some of that I'm going to post in the comments after this, so that you'll be able to refer to that and kind of look through that and get a heads up. One of the things that I've talked about quite a bit is making sure you take care of you throughout the job search. This job market is extraordinarily rough. Small business owners are feeling the crunch, large business owners, HR and recruiting people, in addition to the candidates and job seekers out there. So what can we do to support people in the workplace? And it's a way to enhance their support through employee resource groups is one of the things they're exploring. And I will also copy and paste this article about employee health for those of you that are in the HR sector, for those of you that are in recruiting, those of you who may find useful things to use just personally for yourself. I want to make sure you take care of yourself in this process for sure. The judge says she's inclined to further pause layoffs at most major agencies. So again, the reduction in force for the federal government, there is pushback on that. The poor federal workers are caught in this weird space. Like, some of them are still getting paid, but then they pulled their benefits. I couldn't imagine not having health care at a time when inflation is what it is. So that would be really bad. But just make sure you're prepared, folks. Another article I found useful was 3 things I've learned about hiring and firing after 35 years in the business. And it is an HR professional that speaks to this. And that's the 3rd article that I will post in the comments for you guys to look through. Remote and hybrid. Oh, sorry, here's the fourth article. There is an article that came out and sponsored by Shutterstock, or the pictures were Shutterstock. But top 50 companies are recognized for having the highest number of remote job openings in 2025. So it doesn't go with like actual hires, but it is saying number of job openings. So take that for what you will. The article does have the employers hyperlinked, so then you'd be able to look through their jobs relatively easily. So I will post that in there. All right, let's talk about you. We've talked about everything from soup to nuts on resumes. I'd like to cover a little bit, something I don't think I've covered as much. On your resume, formatting is important, but over formatting and using templates isn't, and I've discussed that before. One of those things that tends to still be hanging on in many of the resumes I'm seeing from my clients is a professional summary, objective, that little blurb at the top, whatever you call it. Those are rarely needed. If you are somebody who is a doctor, a lawyer, maybe you can get away with a brief thing there. I would rather see a resume that goes straight into your professional experience or straight into your professional skills. Remember, those hiring managers and those recruiters are looking at your resume for about 6 seconds. So please make it easy for them. Don't make them have to dig. That will set you over and above the pack. And just remember to look through the job, and if there's any skills that they say they specifically need that you have that are not listed on your resume, please add those. I always remind my clients when I send over their resume to do this as well. But that is the advice I have for today. I always do try to keep this very short. Just your fast facts on Friday from Michelle. Keep dry out there. Have a great and safe weekend, and take care of each other. Peace out.